It's Friday, March 7th, 2025. So we have 3 more weeks to go, and there are 18 days more to go for my payday, which is Tuesday, right? 25th. So until that time, I have to save a lot of money, right? Basically, I am living paycheck to paycheck until the March. In March, I will have stock dividends, a lot of them, huge fat bonus. Until that time, I have to be on the survival mode, and making a pizza on my own would be interesting feast. Let's find out how to make pizza dough on your own, DIY, amateurish. This article is from where, right? Sally's Baking Addiction.com, right? Sally. And the title is Homemade Pizza Dough Recipe for Beginners. Author is, of course, Sally, right? Sally McKinney. Published 2019, January 21st. Updated May 14th, 2022. This easy pizza dough recipe is great for beginners and produces a soft homemade pizza crust. Skip the pizza delivery because you only need 6 basic ingredients to begin. This recipe is brought to you in partnership with Red Star East. This post may contain affiliate links. Commission. Every great pizza begins with a great pizza crust. Some like it thin and crispy, while others prefer a thick and soft crust. This homemade pizza crust has it all. Soft and chewy, with a delicious crisp and awesome flavor, right? Soft and chewy. That's good expression, man. Soft and chewy. It's my go-to pizza dough recipe, and just a glance at the hundreds of reviews in the comments section tells me that it's a favorite for many others too, right? It's my go-to pizza dough recipe. It's my go-to pizza dough recipe. Soft and chewy. Easy dough for bread beginners. Okay, so I'm a bread beginner, right? This is a no-fuss dough recipe for beginners. You need just 6 basic ingredients plus a little cornmeal for preparing the pan. You can skip that if needed. Most of the time is hands-off as the dough rises. You might wonder why waste the time when you can just buy frozen pizza dough. Frozen pizza dough is certainly convenient, but from scratch, crust has unbeatable flavor and texture that only comes from fresh dough. Right? From scratch that's another expression, right? This is an adjective, right? From scratch. So from scratch is hyphenated. From scratch crust has unbeatable flavor and texture that only comes from fresh dough, right? From scratch dough crust has unbeatable flavor and texture that only comes from fresh dough. And you can use the dough for cheese breadsticks too. What is a cheese breadsticks, man? Reader Andy commented, super easy, super fast, super good. I don't like doughy, thick pizzas, and I find with this recipe that I can make them thin and crunchy. I love how easy it is. I make pizza once or twice a month. Haven't bought one for quite some time now. If you've ever made homemade bagels or sandwich bread, you can easily make pizza dough because it's quicker, easier, and requires fewer steps. Overview: homemade pizza dough ingredients. All pizza dough starts with the same basic ingredients: flour, yeast, water, salt, and olive oil. Oh, okay, olive oil. We don't have olive trees in Korea, so maybe corn oil or canola oil or maybe sesame oil. The full printable recipe is below. Yeast. I use platinum yeast from Red Star. I have the best results when I use this instant yeast. The platinum yeast is fantastic because it's a careful formula, strengthens your dough, and makes working with yeast simple. You only need 1 standard packet of yeast, 2¼ teaspoons, to get the job done. Water. I tested this pizza dough recipe with different amounts of water. 1 1/3 cups is the perfect amount. Use warm water to cut down on rise time, about 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything over 130 degrees Fahrenheit kills the yeast. Flour. Use unbleached all-purpose white flour in this recipe. All-purpose white flour. Bleaching the flour strips away some of the protein, which will affect how much water the flour absorbs. You can substitute bread flour for a chewier pizza crust. If you love whole grain bread, try this whole wheat pizza dough instead. Okay, so bleached flour is stripped away of the protein, right? So bleaching the flour, right? Bleaching the flour strips away some of the protein. A couple teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil adds wonderful flavor to the dough. Don't forget to brush the dough with olive oil before adding the toppings, which prevents what? Prevents the crust from tasting soggy, right? Tasting soggy. Tasting soggy. Salt. Salt adds necessary flavor. In Korea we use bamboo salts, right? Or salt that has been roasted over the frying pan, right? Salt, sugar. 1 tablespoon of sugar increases the yeast's activity and tenderizes the dough, especially when paired with a little olive oil. Tenderizes. Cornmeal. Cornmeal isn't in the dough, but it's used to dust the pizza pan. Cornmeal gives the pizza crust a little extra flavor and crisp. Most delivery pizzas you enjoy have cornmeal on the bottom crust. What is a cornmeal? You could also add 1 teaspoon each garlic powder and Italian seasoning blend to the dough when you add the flour. One reader, Shane, commented, "Excellent pizza dough. I add about 1 tablespoon, I don't know, maybe 1 TB, right? 1 tablespoon of garlic powder and Italian herbs to give the dough more flavor, as well as 40 grams of cornmeal for a little crunch. It freezes well and makes a nice thin crust." This is a lean bread dough. Pizza crust, like homemade bagels, artisan bread, and focaccia, requires a lean dough. A lean dough doesn't use eggs or butter. Without the extra fat to make the dough soft, you are promised a crusty pizza crust. However, I recommend using some olive oil for flavor and to keep the interior on the softer side. Recipes like dinner rolls and sweet potato dinner rolls, homemade breadsticks, and overnight cinnamon rolls require fat to yield a rich dough, which creates a softer and more dessert like bread. Overview: how to make an easy pizza dough. Make the dough. Knead, rise, punch and shape, top it, bake. Make the dough. Mix the dough ingredients together by hand or use a handheld or stand mixer. Do this in steps as described in the written recipe below. Knead. Knead by hand or with your mixer. Kneading, right? There's an interesting, beautiful lady from China who just who makes the short TikTok videos where she kneads the dough in front of her mother-in-law, right? Knead by hand or with your mixer. I like doing this by hand. If you are new to yeasted doughs, my how to knead dough post and video can help with this step. Rise. Place dough into a greased mixing bowl. Cover tightly and set aside to rise for about 90 minutes or overnight in the refrigerator. Punch and shape. Punch down risen dough to release air bubbles. Divide into. Roll dough out into a 12-inch circle. Cover and rest as you prep the pizza toppings. Prep, right? Prepare. Prep. Top it. Top with favorite pizza toppings. Bake. Bake pizza at a very high temperature for only about 15 minutes. Young bakers can lend a hand and have fun in the process. Let the kids help you press down the dough and shape into a circle. They can add their cheeses and make pepperoni faces on top of the pie. Who doesn't love a smiley pizza? Favorite pizza pans. Let me share my top choices for pizza pans just in case you are shopping for a new one. I use and love affiliate links, this one and this one. If you like baking your homemade pizzas on pizza stones, I've used this one before and it's wonderful. If you don't have a pizza pan, use a regular sheet pan, right? Grease it with olive oil and sprinkle with cornmeal as directed below. And then press the dough into whatever shape that will fit. Make sure the dough is about 1.5 inch thick. For a thinner pizza, stretch the dough out more. Stretch the dough out, right? Stretch the dough out. Stretch the dough out more. Sheet pan. You gotta be careful with the sheet, right? Not shit, but sheet pan. Yeah, very difficult pronunciation though. Use is for homemade pizza dough. Here are the many uses for this homemade pizza dough. Stuffed crust pizza, pesto pizza, homemade ham and cheese pockets, pepperoni pizza rolls, stromboli, spinach artichoke white pizza, homemade BBQ chicken pizza, garlic knots, margarita style. For 2 pizzas, when it's time to top it in step 6 below, top with the following. Feel free to have for only 1 pizza. Make a homemade tomato sauce by blending 1 1 28-ounce can San Marzano tomatoes, 1 tablespoon olive oil, pinch of salt, and 2 minced cloves of garlic. Spread on shaped doughs. Top each with 2 to 3 ounces thinly sliced fresh mozzarella. Bake as directed, and then sprinkle each hot pizza with 2 tablespoons freshly grated Parmesan cheese and a handful of roughly chopped fresh basil. Apple gorgonzola pizza is a favorite. For one pizza, when it's time to top it in step 6 below, top with 1 and 1.5 cups, 6 ounce or 168 grams, shredded mozzarella cheese, 8 ounces crumbled gorgonzola cheese, thin slices of apple. Then sprinkle with chopped fresh or dried rosemary before baking. Or any other pizza topping you love: pepperoni, crumbled sausage, black olives, onions, mushrooms, jalapenos, etc. Here are my flatbread pizza crust, whole wheat pizza dough, Chicago style deep dish pizza, and cold veggie pizza recipes. Want to save this recipe? Enter your email below and we'll send the link straight to your inbox. Plus, you will join 250,000 fellow bakers and receive my trusted baking recipes each week. Email address, first name. I agree to receive emails from Sally's Baking Recipes. Description. Follow these basic instructions for a thick, crisp, and chewy pizza crust at home. The recipe yields enough pizza dough for 2 12-inch pizzas, and you can freeze half of the dough for later. Close to 2 pounds of dough total. Okay. A lot of ingredients and long comments, and yeah, that's it. I just wanted to know who is Sally, right? Nope. Okay, here it is, Sally. I started Sally's Baking Addiction Now, also called Sally's Baking Recipes, in 2011 as a personal blog. It was just an easy way to share my baking recipes with friends and family. My small hobby blog quickly ignited a passion for food, photography, as well as a desire to teach others not just what to bake, but how to bake. Growing up, right, I spent hours watching my mother and grandmother work their baking magic in the kitchen, especially their pecan pie and Irish soda bread. And as a self taught home baker myself, I'm fiercely dedicated to providing well tested recipes and sharing everything I've learned along the way. Before I post a new recipe, you can feel confident that I have already tested it dozens of times in my own kitchen. This is why Sally's Baking Recipes has become a trusted resource for anyone who wants to bake from scratch dough, right? In addition to the hundreds of recipes on the site, you will also find helpful kitchen tips, lessons on baking basics, step-by-step photos, and video tutorials that will help you gain confidence and expertise in the kitchen. Just a year and a half after launching my blog, I quit my full-time job to build Sally's Baking Recipes into the business you see today. I've written, photographed, and published more than 1,000 from scratch recipes and have authored 3 cookbooks. Wow, feast. My work has been featured in People magazine, on Good Morning America, and popular online media, including BuzzFeed, HuffPost, and more. And my one-woman show has grown into a talented and dedicated team, including Stephanie, Beth, Trina, Lexi, and Aaron, as well as our video experts, Christopher, Ashlyn, David, and Strauss. I truly hope Sally's baking recipes will be your first stop when you need a recipe for your occasion. I'm thankful you are here to join the baking adventure. Okay, yeah, I would be interested in joining you guys, bringing Asian perspective on your business. Yes, I'm Korean, and I speak fluent Korean and fluent English and uh, mid fluent Chinese. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a wonderful Friday.